Epi Info is an amazing all-in-one tool for data management. In this video, we are going to design an awesome electronic questionnaire with Epi Info. Epi Info is a super awesome suite of software tools that is used globally by researchers and scientists for data management. It can be used in several points of the data management lifecycle from start to finish of any quantitative research, from data collection to analysis and even visualization. In this video, we are going to discuss how to use Epi Info for data collection. Specifically, I'll be showing you the Epi Info Form Designer, its graphical user interface, how to design a beautiful questionnaire, how to set some restrictions with the questions of the questionnaire, how to enter data, and lots more. Okay? Now, if this sounds good to you, let's do this, shall we? So we are going to be using a simple questionnaire which was developed to collect data for a household survey on effective treatment for communicable diseases in West Africa. The researchers in this study intended to explore the experiences with seeking treatment for communicable diseases in communities in West Africa. Now, this questionnaire was in a paper format, all right? Some people are still using paper. Okay, so how do we quickly design this questionnaire and make it in an electronic form for easy data collection and data entry? All right, now enter the Epi Info Form Designer. This is where this awesome tool comes in. First, let's launch Epi Info for Windows. All right, and we'll see the 6 good stuff of Epi Info. The first good stuff you can see, it says create forms, right? Okay, so let's click on it. And this will bring us to the Form Designer. All right, with the Form Designer, you can design any kind of questionnaire you can think of. You're only going to be limited by your imagination. All right, so you can also put in various colors and options. Let me just describe for you the amazing graphical user interface before we get into motion. So the first bar that you see where it says Form Designer is called the title bar. It just tells you which of the 6 good stuff of Epi Info you are currently working with. So we know we are now working on the Form Designer, yeah, because you can see that. Okay, now then we have the menu bar, which is the next bar after the title bar. This allows an easy way to access all the aspects of the form that you are designing, okay? And this is where the standard menu items are situated in a drop-down kind of fashion, all right? The next bar that we're going to be seeing directly below the menu bar is called the toolbar, all right? This is where you have all the items that are very commonly used in the menu bar situated, okay? So it's on this toolbar that you have quick access to a lot of items that are currently being used. Then on the left side of the screen is this panel called Project Explorer. Now, this allows you to add pages, fields, and templates to a form when designing your questionnaire. Now, and finally, this large space where I'm standing is called the canvas. Okay, this is where you'll be doing all your form designing. All right, so how do we use this form builder to design an electronic questionnaire? Now, let's go quickly through the questionnaire that we're going to be using. Now, this questionnaire is called Health Questionnaire. Okay, we can see its introduction and the consent page on page 1. Awesome, right? Okay, now let's look at page 2. This has section A of the questionnaire, and that's the identifier section. All right, so here you see the different elements that can identify the particular questionnaire and the area in which the data is being collected. So we can clearly see 4 columns. All right, the first is the question number, and next is the question, and then a space for responses, and finally you see instructions for each question. Now let's go to the third page, and the third page, this should be section B, right? And this is where you see the socio-demographic profile, age, gender, education, normal stuff. All right, easy peasy. Then the next section is section C, and this one carries the main questions dealing with experiences with seeking treatment among these individuals that were asking the questions. Okay, awesome, right? Now, this is a very, very typical questionnaire, and most people will be using questionnaires like this. So let's dig into it. Let's start with our introduction page of this questionnaire. Now, we just click on Create Forms now, and click on New Project. Now, the way Epi Info builds its forms is awesome, just super cool, okay? It wants everything in that form for that particular research to be stored in a folder called project. Okay, now within that project you have your forms, and within each form you have a questionnaire. All right, so and within each page of this questionnaire you have questions. All right, So let's bring this back to the context of our work. So for some of you that might be using this questionnaire for like your school dissertation, all right, so you will probably want to just call this MPH dissertation. But if you just write it as MPH dissertation, you get an error, all right? The reason behind this is that the software wants the names to be very specific, so you can't have any kind of mix-ups. Preferably, just use a single word when you're writing this. But if you want to write 2 words, then you must separate it with an underscore like this, all right? Next, this is where the file is going to be located, all right? Now, if you don't like it here, you can change it by hitting on the browse and placing it wherever you like on your computer. All right, then let's be organized and write a brief description. Now, let's just say this is our MPH project. All right, so we'll say it's an MPH project to determine the health-seeking behavior of individuals, blah, blah, blah. All right, and the last thing you need to do is to write the name of the questionnaire. So our questionnaire is called Health Questionnaire, if you remember. All right, and this is also the name that we're going to put there. Now, remember, when writing names, do not leave any space, or else we will get an error like this again. Okay, so let's put an underscore and then we click OK and boom. All right, it gets very, very interesting. So let's look at the Project Explorer. If you look at the Project Explorer now you can see our project right at the top. Okay, and it's the parent folder that is housing everything we want to put into this project. You see why I said it's good to be organized, right? So you see the project, and within the project we have our questionnaire. Okay, if you remember. All right, now inside of our questionnaire, we have by default the first page. This is just by default. And guess what? This first page that we're seeing here is the same first page of our questionnaire. Super awesome, right? Okay, okie dokie artichoke. Now, I really need to recap this so you feel the awesomeness of the level of organization. So we created a project and then we named form or the questionnaire. And automatically Epi Info has created for us the first page. Now the next thing you need to know is how to create questions or elements of the questionnaire. Epi Info calls anything you create on your questionnaire as a field. Okay, so this title is a field. The introduction is also a field. And most certainly all the questions are fields. Okay, now Epi Info makes it super easy to design a form using this amazing system, because these are all possible fields that you can add to your form. Okay, label, text field, date. Now, how do you add these fields to the canvas? Okay, it's super simple. We just drag and drop. Let's see. Let's go to our questionnaire. All right, and we can see the first thing there is the title, right? And what's the title? Okay, Health Questionnaire, right? So let's put this field. Which field is this going to be? Let's look at it. Which field is this going to be? Remember, this is page 1, all right? So let's look at all the different fields that we have in this Project Explorer. And I think the field we want to add is called a title field, okay? So we will just click on it and then drag that field and drop it on the canvas. And as soon as we drop it, boom, you see this beautiful dialog box that will just pop up. So here you just need to write the names of the fields as you want it to appear on the questionnaire. So I'm just going to write Health Questionnaire. As simple as that. Okay, now this name can be written anyhow you want to write it, since it's only going to appear on the questionnaire. All right, you can use spaces, you can use special characters, anything goes. All right, because there are no specifications for this particular field. All right, the next thing to do is just to click on the field name, and this becomes populated automatically, as you can see. So don't worry about that field name for now. I will tell you about it a little later. Let's go ahead. Okay, so then let's click OK, and you can see the title there just pops up on the page. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, now this software is so cool that it literally allows you to design your form in any format that you like. So you can even move it to any place you like, adjust it anyhow you like. All right, and do whatever you want to do. Now let's go to the next thing on our first page of our questionnaire, and that's the introduction, right? Now, if I may ask you, what kind of field will this introduction be? Okay, now if you look through all the fields, you will come to the conclusion that this is a field that doesn't require any input from the respondent, right? So it's just for information's sake. All right, but it is equally important. So every questionnaire must have an introduction, but this introduction is going to be read only, right? So just like the title that we had that is read only. So Epi Info calls stuffs like this a label field, okay? So we just go to label stroke title field like we did before, and we just drag and drop it. And we're already familiar with this dialog box that pops up, okay? So I'll just go back to the questionnaire and copy the entire introduction and then paste it here, okay? Then click this field name that comes up by default. This time I'll want to change it a little. I'll just change it to intro and then click OK, all right? Now, see how our questionnaire is already coming up gradually, right? We are gradually building up page 1 of the questionnaire, but I don't think I like the way this looks, all right? I just don't like the way it looks. Like I earlier said, you can adjust it the way you deem fit. So let's move this around a bit and adjust it till it looks good, okay? Now, oh, awesome. Now I love the way things are shaping up. Let's check our questionnaire again. And you can see that we're almost through with designing page 1. So easy, okay? So we just have the consent question that is left. Okay, good. So what type of field will this question be? So let's look at all the fields again and see which one will best suit this. You can see that this question has options. So, and the options are yes or no. So if we check all the fields and we see, I can see that there's a field that is called options, and that looks good, right? So let's put that one and see. No, but wait, I see another one there and it has yes or no. All right, I think that will definitely be the best for this field. So let's just select it, and as usual, we drag and we drop, and boom, okay? Now we see this dialog box. It is a little bit different from the other dialog box that we've had before, all right? So now pay attention here, because this is where it gets really, really interesting. So you can see that this dialog box is different, right? We will just enter our question here, and then the field name comes up by default, as we already know, okay? Now, I prefer to shorten it a little. So I'll just change this field name to consent. Simple, right? But wait a minute. Look at this other interesting stuff that I'm seeing here. What are all these? Well, these are called attributes. They help you to modify the fields so that you don't have any issues with the quality of the data that is being collected. Okay? So the first option here that we can see is a check box to make it read only. All right. Now, if we check this, it's going to make this field unusable. All right. Just like the label. But we want this field to be usable. All right. So that's not what we want. We want it to be usable. So next is repeat last. Now, this allows the last entry to be repeated, but we will not need that right now. So we're just going to leave it. All right. For this one that says required, when you check it off, it means the question will become required to be able to submit the questionnaire. So what this means is that the question must be answered before the questionnaire can be submitted. This will surely definitely help to reduce missing entries, right? So that's awesome, awesome. Now, these other two tabs that you see here are for formatting the text, all right? This is for formatting the questions, while the other one is for formatting the options, okay? Like I said, this is just for text formatting. So let's make some changes so you can see how amazing this is. We'll just make it bold and increase the font size to 14. Okay, and then we click OK. And you see how nice it looks. And then you can move this to any part of the canvas. You see? So you see, this is the prompt or the question. And remember, we made it bold and we made it size 14. And you can see how it has all reflected. And this one is the field. So the actual field is the place where you enter the data. So you can see that we can move them around to any part of the canvas, okay? So let's just arrange this to look very fine. Man, this is awesome. Now see how we are through with page 1 of our questionnaire. Is this not looking awesome? All right, now we go on to the next page. So how do we add a new page? Man, easy peasy, all right? We'll just right click on the questionnaire in the Project Explorer. And then from the options there, we just click add page and the dialog box just pops up, and you can actually name each page if you want, but let's just leave the default as page 2. So you can see that we have our fresh page 2. Now let's spice things up. Let's change the background of our page 2. So we'll just go to the menu bar and hit on format and then background. And then we can choose from all the colors, the different colors that we have here. I prefer a gray background, and then we click OK. Now let's check out our second page of the questionnaire. This is going to be easy peasy since we did page 1 together. So for page 2, the title is section A, identification. And as usual, we just add that field. So which is the title or label field, right? We just drag and drop. Now let me show you another way of adding a new field. If you are not a fan of drag and drop, you can just go to the area where you want to add the field on the canvas and do a right click. Then select new field and select the particular field that you want to add. Okay, very, very simple. This time what we want to add is the label field. So you see, you have this dialog box again, and we already know how to fill this in. So we'll just put in section A, identification, allow the field name by default, and let's make it bold this time and size 16. And let's just move it around into position right there. Okay, awesome. Now for the next item on our questionnaire, it's the name of the word, right? So the person will be entering this as text in words, right? So even if you see the instructions, it says enter only text. So let's look for a text field, and then we can right click again, and this time we check around and we select text field. Fill in the details and the specifications for this field. All right, I don't want the data collector to enter anything that has more than 12 letters. All right, so, and I want this required, and then we say okay, and boom, you see this beautiful field to collect data on the name of the word. Now let's check the next question quickly. Okay, and let me see. Oh shoot, I made a mistake. I wanted to put the numbers of each of the questions there. Okay, so but instead of just the prompt without the numbers, I wanted to put the numbers there. I want it to appear as one name of the word, just like it appeared in the questionnaire. Does that mean that we will need to delete this field and put up a new one? We technically could do that, but that would be just a waste of time. Well, the good news is that you can just adjust this on the fly. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. We just right click on the field and go to properties. All right, and now I can add my number 1 and say okay, and you see how beautiful this is. All right, awesome. The next is super easy. It's household number. Okay, so we should use the number field, right? Well, wrong. The way the household number is written is not only numbers, but it's in alphabets and numbers. Okay, so hence the term alphanumeric. Something like HH19. Okay, that's household 19. Now, if it were only numbers, then we'll have selected the number field, and that would have been good enough. Okay, now it has a maximum of 4 characters. Because we're only taking only 85 households per community for this survey. So we can have HH01 to a maximum of HH85. Okay, so we'll restrict this to 4 characters. All right, and let's go. I'm just going to drag it and drop it here, and oh shoot, I forgot the number again. Oh my God. All right, well, you know the drill. So just right click and then select properties. All right, and correct it the way you want and click OK. Easy peasy. All right, now we go on to the next one. That's the unique ID. It's also text. All right, no stress. So the next is location of the house. So let me show you an even more interesting thing that you can do with this form designer for Epi Info. Enter the Epi Info templates. Epi Info has what we call templates. Now, these templates are super intuitive features that allow you to quickly put up portions of your questionnaire without any hassles. All right, so it's like a collection of fields that you have arranged for you together to form something that you can use easily. Okay, so for the location, we have a special template that is called geolocation. Okay, now I really love this template, and you're going to love it too. So we're just going to drag and drop, and boom, you see, Super awesome. It contains several fields in just one single block. All right, it contains the address, the longitude, the latitude, and even one cool small button there that allows you to populate the geolocation automatically if your device supports it. Okie dokie, artichoke. I can even change the wordings to suit my own data collection needs. Now, since our questionnaire is saying location of the house, let's change it to reflect that. All right, great. And for the last one on this page, which is the type of place of residence, you have the option to choose whether it's rural or urban, right? Okay, so we're going to use a new field. Now this field is called option. All right, so we just look for the option field and we drag and drop. So here we put in the prompt. Remember, it's number 5, right? Okay, and we work on the settings. Now, how many choices do we have? It's rural, urban, right? So just 2 choices. Yes, 2. So rural or urban. All right. So under here, we will list those 2 options. Okay. And boom, you see, there we have it. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Our page 2 is complete. Easy peasy, no stress at all. Okay. Now you can arrange it whichever way you want. Play around with the formatting. Just do whatever you want to do. I'll just speeding things up in the interest of time. And if you want to see how I made this beautiful, you can just slow down the video and see my steps. YouTube has a feature that allows you to slow down the video so you can see the steps in which I used to make this look beautiful. You may want to change the color, you may want to group them, you may want to do all sorts of formatting. All right, for me, I just like to see it this way. Okie dokie, artichoke. So let's head off to page 3 of our questionnaire and we will just add a page. All right, like we did before. We'll just add a title, and the title here is a socio-demographic profile, right? The first question is number 1 and is age at last birthday. So here we will use what type of field? All right, you guessed right, the number field. Okay, so we just drag and drop. So here we're expecting people aged 15 to 16 years of age. All right, so we are not going to enter more than 2 digits. You can't enter 100 years or more. Our ages has to be a maximum of 2 digits. So we'll put the pattern as having only 2 digits. All right. Now this is awesome for putting logic checks in your questionnaires to avoid data quality errors. We can also add a second check, okay, which is the range. All right. Now this questionnaire will not allow you to interview anyone that is outside this range. So we put the range of 15 to 65. Super awesome stuff. And that's for the age. We're through with the age. It's very, very simple. All right. So next off is the gender. All right. We can use the option field, but I want to show you how to use another field so you can make your form a bit more tidy. All right. Enter the legal values. Now with legal values, you can get a drop down rather than the one that shows all the values like the option field. Okay. So this is very similar to options, but this time we'll need to put what is called the data source. Okay. So we'll put the prompt normally, and then we'll click on this button for the data source. Now listen up very carefully here. In this new dialog box that pops up, you can either create a new one or an existing one from the ones you have created. All right. Now, the more you create forms, you will have several legal values that you have created, and these ones you can now reuse over and over again. That's an awesome feature also that Epi Info has. Now let's just click on create a new one. And so here we'll just list all the values that we want to have with the variable and then click OK. All right. And there we have it. Next is highest level of education. And we have 5 choices or options. Okay. So we'll just put this up quickly and boom. Look how cool this looks. Now let's patch it over there. All right. And the next one is marital status. Marital status has 5 options. Okay. So we'll just quickly also put that up. And we'll put ethnicity. All right. Ethnicity has also 4 options. Okay. And we'll put that up nice and smooth. But this time we have an option that wants us to specify order. And you'll see this commonly in a lot of questionnaires. So we'll use another text field to add by the side of the main ethnicity field. All right. So, and I'll need to just give it a number. So let's call it 5.1. And that's that. Awesome. Page 3 is complete. You can see how simple this is, okay? Now, I'm just going to leave you guys to do page 4, all right? Because you need to practice, all right? And you have to practice also all what you have learned, okay? So let's just assume this is the end of the questionnaire. So if you have finished your questionnaire, what's the next thing to do, all right? So what we'll need to do now is to test our questionnaire and to see whether it works as expected, okay? So let's try entering the data into our questionnaire and see. So what we'll do here is to just go to the toolbar and click enter data over there. Now let's see how our questionnaire looks. Wow, look, this is looking really, really great, all right? So let's look at the first page, all right? Looking super cool, all right? Now, assuming that we want to go to the community and collect data, all right? And we want to go old school, all right? Like some of you, no matter how long you preach to them, and no matter how much you preach to them, will never ever adopt electronic data. They will want to go with paper, all right? So you can print this questionnaire, all right? You can print it as it is and go to the community or go to the field or go to the classroom or go to wherever you want to go to collect data with the paper. And then when you come back, you can enter it manually into Epi Info, all right? And then you can do whatever data kind analysis you want to do. So let's just assume that you have collected the data with paper, all right? So let's try entering this first questionnaire that we have over here, all right? So this person has given us consent, so we enter yes, okay? All right, then we go to the next page, and we do that by just clicking page 2 up there, all right? And it's Samaru word, okay? And then the household number is HH02, that's the second household. It has a unique ID of 093467, all right? And then we go to location. Now you just click on that button, all right? And you need to be connected to the internet and you need to have locations turned on your device for this to work. So I'm not going to do that now, all right? And then the address is 90 Serikin Power Road, Samaru, Zaria. Okay, all right, and this place is an urban area. So you see how simple it is? And then we go to the next page. Now, this person is 29 years old, is male, all right, with tertiary education, and is single, and is Igbo, all right? Easy peasy, okay? Now, this is better than using the Microsoft Word version of the questionnaire to go and collect data, and then coming to enter it manually. Because there's bound to be errors when you are entering the data, because they're not looking the same, all right, into Epi Info. All right, so but if you use the Epi Info format, then you'll see it very easy to also enter because you'll be seeing them in the same format. All right, but the best use case is for you to send this questionnaire to Epi Info Mobile. Use the mobile phone to collect data and you can do analysis on the mobile phone, or you send it back to Epi Info for analysis. All right, so but let's just add another record. Okay, so for us to do that, we click on new record up there and add the next record. All right. Easy peasy. So I'll just enter a couple of more questionnaires and then you can see how it looks when we finish data entry. Now that data has been entered into Epi Info, we will just go to the dashboard quickly so that you will see what the raw data looks like in a spreadsheet. So just click on the dashboard on the toolbar, all right, and go to data from the drop down up there. And you can see all the data that we have entered, right? The address, the age, the gender, okay? And now you can go and do any kind of data analysis and visualizations that you like from this data, all right? So let's try a simple frequency on the gender and see how it looks like, okay? Awesome stuff, all right. So you can see that there are 3 females and 2 males with 60 and 40% respectively. And plenty other statistics. Even a mini bar chart there on the side, all right? This is super awesome, okay? So this is how to develop a simple questionnaire using Epi Info for Windows. Now, we have successfully gone through how to create fields and how to put restrictions and how to also enter data into the questionnaire. Now, if you have gained value in this video and you are interested in learning more about using Epi Info for data collection, click here to know how to transfer your questionnaire to Epi Info Mobile for data collection. In my next video, God willing, I am going to show you how to do basic data analysis with Epi Info for Windows. But until then, peace.